Hey everyone, welcome back to the Heroes World Podcast Quarantine Edition. I am your host, Stupe, and I am joined today with the proprietors and owners of Heroes World, John and Andre. Please say hi.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
And of course, the Prince of Mischief himself, Rob Gadet. Hi, Rob.
Good morning, Stuart.
Good day, good day. So today we are here to do our thoughts, reviews, and full spoilers into The Mandalorian Chapter 11. I think that's correct.
Yep.
So we're going to do the segment we always do, which is the fun one, which is Andre gets to tell us about the episode without giving us an opinion whether he liked or just hated it, and just be totally vague. And then we're going into full spoilers after. So Andre, the game begins now. Tell us what happened in this episode to the best of your knowledge.
All right. So the Mandalorian and his frog companion passenger basically can we use the word stumble if they're in a spaceship? They just basically stumble, get to the planet, their destination, and they crash the Razor Crest, which then became kind of like a sea crest, very funny looking Mon Calamari modified ship after.
I love that. But anyways, continue. Carry on. Yes.
It's quaint.
And in true Mandalorian fashion that we know for this amazing Mandalorian, he believes the first word of everybody, and continues to get, shall we say, misled and mistreated. But worse than that, the people that want to mistreat the Mandalorian, hold on, they're not very smart because they try to take his armor with fish hooks and staffs, and then he gets saved by 3 other Mandalorians, and he learns a new way, and then yet again gets roped into doing a mission to help them so that he can get information. We get to see a new Imperial ship. Well, not new. It was from Rebels. It was from Rebels. So, anyways, the Mandalorians ask for help from our Mandalorian to secure some arms and armament, and they go on this cool little battle on a ship. And the Mandalorian then at the end gets a new lead on where he can find the next part of his quest to find a Jedi, to find the baby Yoda's what we call it, like who he is,
and his group,
his clan, yeah. And he gets a new lead. So can I spoil who the new lead is? Not yet.
Yeah, in a moment. Yeah. In a moment. Okay, so that thank you, Andre. That was good. I love the adjectives. A little something. So now at this point, the gimmick of should you watch it is over. Yes, you should watch it. Let's just carry on. If you're watching this podcast, you want to watch it. So we're going full spoilers. Please, at this point, understand that anything we say now is a spoiler. So and you've been warned. If you're watching this, it's already like a Sunday night, so you've had 2 days. And the internet's been ruined for you anyway. So if you're watching it, you're just watching our views. So thank you. We appreciate you watching us and giving our thoughts. So super hype. Thank you for watching, subscribing, sharing, and whatnot. But we're going full into spoilers and giving our thoughts. Andre, go ahead, say whatever you want because people have been warned.
All right. So I think this episode, I didn't hate as much as the previous ones. However, that was a little bit because
you wanted to say.
Okay, so it was a little bit because of what Stu said in our chat. Stu just texted it on Friday morning. It's like Mandalorian, so I guess I got hyped thinking it would actually be good, and stuff. And it was a little bit, better, but the tropes of the character are following through. Like I said in the brief summary, this guy's an absolute clown. He's just a gullible idiot. Doesn't second check any information, doesn't do anything, and
he pays for it though. He gets what he deserves. You're like, that's what you get.
Yeah, but how many times until you learn that lesson? How many times? Of the positive for me in this episode was I thought that Katie Sackhoff playing Bo-Katan, she did a really, really good job. She kind of looked like the part. They cut her hair the same. They dyed her hair, or it's a wig. I don't know, but she looked good. I think just my problem with the show is it's almost just being, it's like almost too fan servicey. I guess it and like the again, I'm going right back to writing. They're putting this, showing these situations and stuff like that, and then they're just like, this is the scene we need to do, so let's get there. You know, the three Mandalorians, they ask for his help. Why? Bo-Katan got on that ship and just kicked all kinds of ass. There was no point for him to be there, right? The the ship, when it was flying up, why are there stormtroopers on the outside of a spaceship while it's going into atmosphere?
It was not in the atmosphere. It was just
It
floating.
it was okay. Regardless,
It was
why
floating in the
they
dock,
were,
and then they
dude,
said we have to rush up to go up, and then they were just basically
no,
said,
they were like guard patrolling so they could have this cool scene. Again, that's just it's just silly.
Okay, so based on the episode, they were saying, but we have to basically push up. So I think they were slowly ascending forward, and the guys were doing their last checks. And then once he told them to rush, you saw the water and stuff in the dock area push upwards of the ship. So they were slowly following procedure in terms of like, if you are, a captain of a ship, Andre, you just don't plow out of the dock. At full
No,
speed.
you're missing
You
my
gotta go
point.
slowly.
I get that part, but to
Also,
me,
Imperials seem to murder their own guys at just like a drop of a dime. So those guys might be the three guys that get to die on takeoff.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, so that felt
Again,
a little bit
I'm yeah,
silly.
go ahead, Andre. I'm continue, please.
Yeah,
Because
so
I
I
got
just
lots of thoughts here because I never get to say anything. Yes.
I just thought that, like, again, just how they were writing it, just to have a cool way for them to get in. To me, I would have rather, okay, like, let's have each of those Mandalorians have a purpose. Like maybe one of them could have sliced the door to get in, or blow it open or whatever. It was a very pretty episode. The stormtroopers look great. The battle great. Again, we can see the money that they're spending on this show. Like it looks like Star Wars. You know what I mean? It just looks fantastic. The ship taking off, the monster coming out of the other ship, and stuff. It just looked good, but it just, again, it didn't have any substance. It seems like this was the episode I was waiting for it to just get into gear and go. And it was almost like, oh, now we've reached the starting line, and the next episode's episode 4. So we're halfway through and still nothing, So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
John. So now the people at home, yes, give us your thoughts because you
Okay,
are
I'll keep
the
it brief
farthest
because
out. No, go.
you guys,
No, don't. No, go.
you guys
Go.
are gonna.
Brief. No, go, John.
I don't know. Out of the 3 episodes, my least favorite of the 3. And mostly because, like Andre mentioned it, the fan service. I don't know this Bo-Katan character, so when she showed up, I was like, hey, a Mandalorian with a cool helmet. And then they didn't really kind of explain who she was too much, so I could have used another 5 minutes of a flashback story or something like that. But after I finished watching it, I did look up the list. So IGN actually just published a really nice article of all the Bo-Katan Clone Wars episodes and all the Rebels episodes. So I will go back and watch that. But I felt like, yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't know, I didn't really feel for this character. And then there was a number of things that just happened that I wasn't. There was 2 how are we gonna land this thing sequences, like that's one too many, right? And then what else do they have?
What do you mean how are you gonna land this thing? Like the first time they
No,
land
the first thing they're crashing the Razor Crest. Like, oh, you gotta hold this handle.
Yep.
I need you to hold this handle. Okay, but she's gonna drop the eggs. I don't know. What was the tension in that? That was just artificial tension, right? And then they have to land the Imperial ship because the guy shot his 2 guys and decided to land instead of just sending them out. He could have said, hey, go stop those guys, and instead of blasting them in the head and then crashing the ship, right? And they're like, okay, now how are we gonna land this thing? Like Katie Sackhoff gets in the controls and they're like, oh, how are we gonna land this thing, right? So like they did it twice. I'm like, what the hell? And then the firefights, they look good. Like Andre said, the stormtrooper outfits looked amazing. There was a lot of shooting. There was a nice the stereotypical cover me, and then he proceeds to run directly into the line of fire. Like, how do you cover that? And then all he does is he gets a couple feet closer and throws the grenades. It's like, you couldn't have thrown that from across the thing, or those things don't slide, I'm pretty sure, or he couldn't have put it on one of those laser guided rockets. And
or he couldn't use the rocket on his back.
No, you can't use that.
Yeah,
I don't think it's established he has a rocket on his back.
Yeah, he does. I don't think he has.
I don't think we've established that. That's. I think Boba Fett has one, but if you look at the configuration of his, it doesn't look like there's a rocket. So I don't know if his model has one. So I don't. And again, you're on
Well,
a ship. You
the
fire a
other
rocket.
Bo-Katan and her crew could have had them too. So, anyways,
Well,
regardless.
first rule of a plane usually is you don't fire rockets or guns because the air
Yeah,
pressure
but you also shouldn't use a flamethrower in your own ship too. Just saying. So, like,
flamethrower won't puncture a hole that would destroy cabin pressure. So flamethrower would be different. But yes,
yeah, like
I'm clearly,
like you said, they weren't in atmosphere, so there was no. Yeah. Anyways, go on, John.
Carry
Sorry.
on.
But
carry
so,
on.
yeah. Like, and Andre said, did they really need the fourth man? Did he mainly make it like he had the smoke grenade? Like, I guess they don't carry smoke grenades, and they knew he had a smoke grenade. But I guess if you're going into an invasion and you see someone else that is highly trained like yourself, you might want that extra person, even if they do nothing. That's like insurance, right? So I let that go. And then it was fine. I did watch it a second time, and I did appreciate it more the second time. I do like how he immediately got punished for trusting those guys. Like, that guy already talked like a pirate. He already looked shady as hell, and you're gonna go and get pushed into this pit. I do wish they added a sequence where where they first show up and he takes off on the rocket pack. He goes back to the bar and immediately murders that server, right? Because that guy super set his ass up. Like, he's like, yeah, that guy over here.
I think your logic is taking very big leaps. But yes, anyways. Okay. You're galaxy braining this, John. So let's continue on. All right, Rob, please go for it.
Look, Andre and John know I love you guys. Man, you guys are nitpicking the shit out of the show.
Yeah, Rob, do blasters work underwater?
Yeah.
I got a couple nerd questions before Rob.
I don't care, because guess what? It's science.
Lightsabers work underwater, John.
What is everybody else's armor made of? No one else's armor is made of Beskar, right? Like, what are the other Mandalorians' armor made out of?
I don't know. I don't care.
What's Stormtrooper armor made of that they're they're prone
Plastic.
to getting stabbed?
It's PVC. It's the pipes that were used to construct your house a million years ago. They used it, they broke it down and made armor out of it. So listen, I'm talking to the people here who are not massive Star Wars fans. I'm talking to you. Okay. And so I have a dual perspective in that I'm watching the show for this podcast and with my son, because I'm enjoying it. So I have to look at it from his point of view and from mine. So I don't know who Bo-Katan is, because I never watched Clone Wars or Rebels. I only know about the character based on, John and Andre talking about it. So I kind of have, not a spoiler, but I have some pre-information in this side of my head, and then I'm watching it with my almost 12-year-old son in this side of it. So I really value his opinion.
I had no idea. It's Stu and Andre.
So I value his opinion on, and I always ask him, what did you like about it? Because he's going to have a different perspective than I am. I'm going to say this. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the episode a lot. I thought it looked amazing. Andre is right. You could tell they put some serious coin into this. This is looking like a top-notch quality Star Wars show. I'm getting a little bit tired of the Razor Crest always having issues. At this point, it's like tinfoil. You maybe just get a new ship, steal a new ship. I don't know.
FYI, the buy-in for that Razor Crest was 2 days before this episode aired, and I was scared that thing was gonna get trashed this episode and be done.
I like the fact that there's a finality with his passenger. It's over and done with. We don't have to see them again. That's great. The child wasn't as annoying in this episode as it had been in past episodes. There was a lot less humor involved with the child this time. The interaction, I was glad to see Katie Sackhoff in it. I've only watched, I know, don't hate me, internet, but I've only watched season 1 of Battlestar before, so I know her a little bit more recently from like The Flash when she plays Amulet.
What about her stint on Longmire?
Right, she's great.
I only watched the first season of that as well. So anyway,
what the hell, Rob? The first season is the worst one.
So I enjoyed her interaction. My son and I both thought that the other Mandalorians were really cool. My son was a little bit confused as to why they're taking their helmets off, and the main Mandalorian isn't. And I remember that when we talked about season 1, that was one of Andre's gripes. I mean, he compared the helmet removing to the past cartoons and shows, so maybe they'll flesh that out a little bit. But again, that's where I go back to, I have this dual sense of what Andre and Stu and John have talked about, and then watching it with my son. I agree with John. I would have liked to have some more information and backstory on who Bo-Katan is, because I don't really know. I was a little surprised to see Disney reusing the Pirates of the Caribbean 2 Davy Jones makeup. For the squid guys at the start, I'm wondering.
Technically,
if
they debuted in Return of the Jedi, so he was
Okay,
one of
so
them
that
was
was a
in
little
Jabba's
bit-
palace in the background. So
Yeah, I
technically,
was almost expecting
he's
to see
canon.
Johnny Depp walking in the background.
They should have
doing-
played that
yeah.
Captain Jack Sparrow song when they panned
Yeah.
out to the zip.
That's
This
right.
is the tale.
Thanks, John. But overall,
We got to mute John.
overall, I thought it was a fun episode. It looked great. It felt fun. It didn't feel like a placeholder episode like we had discussed last
Yep.
week with the snow stuff and the monsters there. So I really enjoyed this episode. I'm excited again because of this podcast, and I've heard of how do you pronounce her name? Ahsoka Katana.
Ahsoka.
Whatever.
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano. Yeah, so I know that she is coming, and I'm kind of, that's kind of for me is kind of cool. So overall, like I felt like this was one of my favorite overall Mandalorian episodes. It was a lot of fun.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm coming full positive, unlike everyone else here. So I've kept my mouth shut for 3 episodes because
I still like the episode.
like
just my least of favorite
let
of
me
the
go,
3.
John. Let me go because
No.
no.
You're
Let
gonna
me
have to
go.
mute me.
Done. Okay, so what's happening is I muted John for those at home because it's so I've waited a long time to do this, and I am essentially saying this. So I get what everyone's gripe is, and I get what people's confusion is and whatnot, but I'm looking at this story like this particular season as a chapters in a book. Is that each chapter is giving us something different, and I'm looking at this bigger picture as a whole, like the Emperor does. He sees the big picture, not the small skirmishes as a thing. So I'm looking at a big picture type situation, and I've written down a lot of my thoughts. And what I'm super hyped about the show so far is that it's embracing a lot of what I love about it. It's some of the Easter eggs, the old canon that Andre calls fan service, is for the old guys like me that love to see this stuff show up. And we get to see characters we haven't seen in a while, and it respects some of the old canon. It's also bringing in new canon, like the books, which is, Cobb Vanth, who not everyone loves, but the new Star Wars books are out there. And to be fair, I'm listening to the audiobooks, but I like it. I like how it's incorporating the new canon, and also in terms of the cartoons. It's bringing Bo-Katan that Andre and myself would never imagine that this would happen, that we'd see her live action. Bo-Katan was there. And if this is what brings people into the Star Wars fold, which is starting to be more and more into like a secret club where only I'm invited, no one else is invited, I love it. So if 5% of people end up watching the Rebels cartoon show and even the videos, then Andre and me win. We win because we've been fighting for watch the cartoon. They're like, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah,
well, I don't want
the Google search right after was immediately
everyone started watching.
Bo-Katan, blah blah
Exactly.
Rebels, all
So
that stuff. So
if this gets people to watch it, then I'm 100% on board, because if they told me too much, well, I don't have to watch the cartoons. Watch the cartoons, you're rewarded. And the same thing with the 2 different species, the Mon Calamari. You get to see when you're watching Rebels or Clone Wars, you get to see how awesome Kit Fisto is. So these things come together, and if you have the time to appreciate it, then it's really great. So I love the fact that it's bringing a bunch of different characters and different storylines together, and it makes me happy that all of us can share this world together, because again, people from the books, the cartoons, and the old canon can watch something together, and it may not be perfect, but again, it's a fine balance of combining all these things together. So what we know so far is that, Din is part of the Watch. So that explains a lot of what the Mandalorian portion of it. It's a cult that wants to reinstate the ancient ways of the Mandalore. So I love how he is, right, what Andre says, a bumpkin. He's a guy that's been trained with people that aren't technically full Mandalorians in their own way. They're doing it in their own way. So for him, it's different. So this season, I think the theme is going to is the Mandalorian, Din, is going to have to deal with a test of faith this season, like his faith of what he thinks a Mandalorian is. And that's what I find very interesting. It's a faith test. It's about, what does it mean to be a Mandalorian? Is it the armor, like wearing the armor, or what do you do with the armor? And that's the theme that I see kind of moving forward. Because let's be frank, people love Boba Fett in the beginning of the thing because he looked cool, not because of the Mandalorian culture. Like when it first came out Star Wars, they looked dope. And that was it. It's like, why do you like Boba Fett? He looks cool. And that's we talk about always about him being overhyped. Is that he looks cool, he has a jetpack and he has a laser thing and he has flamethrower, but there was no substance to it. And that's what Andre talks about before. There was no substance in Boba Fett until recently, because it was the Christmas special he was part of, and he was friends with Han Solo. He was a superfluous character. And now we've gone to get more depth that has been highlighted in Rebels in the books, and we're starting to see that slowly put together. So I like how he's interacted with different Mandalorians, because in terms of like someone who's third generation, Bo-Katan, when takes off the helmet, she's like, oh, you're one of those people. And it's been really interesting, and how he interacts with someone who's, you know, wearing the armor and like Cobb Vanth, who's kind of, in essence, you know, still instills the values of Mandalorian. And I think secretly we can all agree he kind of earned the Boba Fett armor, just being a marshal, looking after people, using the armor for good. So again, it's he's being challenged from his beliefs. He's challenging Bo-Katan in her beliefs, because she's not honorable either. She had to deal with him. She broke it. So it's about balance. And Star Wars is all about balance. It's about balance of the Force. And this, I think, is moving towards balance for the Mandalorians. Balance between what it means to have armor, balance between, you know, a lot of who they are. Because again, their armor and weapons represents like the Force to them. They use those weapons to fight the Jedi. They use the weapons to like get where they are. They've been warmongers. They've been pacifists. They need to figure out the balance between the Mandalorians and their culture as a whole. Because if you watch cartoon shows, you saw they abstained in the Clone Wars because they were half the country or half the civilization were pacifists. The other half of Death Watch, who, you know, Bo-Katan was part of, was there. So I think finishing off that, Din is just proving that, yes, he was like a bad guy, but now he's questioning who he is, his beliefs, and what it means to be a good guy, and questioning whether he should take off his helmet, questioning what it means to have the armor. So I find that, you know, in terms of balance, which is super exciting, that he's not perfect. You can see in it, he's not. And he was an orphan that grew up with the armorer, and who knows what the backstory is for training. It's not like they could go to Mandalore and train, and he didn't have the best teachers. I don't know what it is, but you could see it stark difference subtly between the way that the Night Watch Owl, Bo-Katan's part of the Night Owls. You could see her, and you saw Mercedes, aka Sasha Banks, and the way that they moved in the armor and moved, the more eloquent. There was more of the way that they were classically trained. And to Pandre's point before, it's like Din is like a brawler. He's not the same type of fighter. It's like watching Jet Li versus, you know, a boxer. He's just a different type of person. So I find that I'm interested to see where this goes, and I'm interested in if he runs into, you know, another Rebels character, Sabine, and getting her insights to what it means to be Mandalorian, because clearly there's lots of Mandalorians out there, because no one is truly a Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian are an extinct species of alien race, and this is just like a culture that's inclusive, invites people to it. Like I said before, it's not the Jedi where you have to have a count to be it. Anyone can technically be a Mandalorian. So anyways, that is my thoughts on the show and where it's, and I like the theme, and I like where things are going. Maybe I'm going too far, but that's it. So yeah.
Can I just say though how awesome it was to see Titus Welliver?
I was gonna say Man in Black. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah,
the Man in Black from Lost, also Harry Bosch from the amazing Bosch series. I was like, I love seeing these cameos from these actors that are in pre-existing worlds. Like it fills me with joy.
He was also in Deadwood.
Andre.
Deadwood, Rob.
Feeling.
He was in Deadwood. He was in Star Trek Voyager. He's just a great character actor. It was great.
Yeah,
all right, Andre. Let's. I'm waiting for you to bring me down. Go for it.
Well, I'm glad that you can pull all of that from the show, and you're so hopeful. Like I just don't see I don't see that progression that you're talking about and that stuff. You know, this episode was only 35 minutes, and like you said, they introduced a brand new character that's significant in Bo-Katan, and like John said, they didn't give us any backstory. She then only gives that one line again, like you said, "Oh, you're one of them." Explain to the audience who the Death Watch are, right? Like, you know, you sure you could say, "Oh, we're gonna get to that later," or do your own research. But again, I another 5 to 10 minutes wouldn't have hurt the show. It would have made the show you know, stronger. You know, and then again to just name drop, you know, like Ahsoka. Oh, go to Ahsoka and tell him Bo-Katan sent you. Wouldn't you? at that point say, "Oh, I'm Din Curdin," or whatever his name is. Like, again, he never introduces like any of this stuff. So I if this show ends up being like you said, it's going to be this quest for the Mandalorian to actually become a Mandalorian and not be a Death Watch thing, then kudos for that. I just think the pace of it is just going too slow. Like he meets a Mandalorian or three legit Mandalorians. They take off their helmet, and then he doesn't question what she tells him. Because at this point, he doesn't know any other Mandalorian, so he only knows his way. So there was no question. He's just like, yeah, I'm just going to dip. And here's the one time in this particular episode, sure, the deal got changed, right? But now he could have went with these people, continued on their mission, had a ship, learned some things, and it would have just sidetracked him. But then he's going to get into his busted ass Razor quest. He's got no money, no anything, and then go to this other planet to meet this other person. At a certain point, I think they've got to start getting away from this, one interaction with the characters and then leaving. Like the only character we've had 2 episodes in a row of was Frog Lady. Do you know what I mean?
Frog.
How sad is that? Like,
Well,
like
it was
I get it. I get
too.
it.
The mechanic had 2 episodes.
Was the mechanic in 2 back to back though?
That's what she was.
Yeah, she was. So it's cool, and of course we know that she'll probably all the characters will probably meet back up at the end last episode for some reason and stuff. But I just wish there needs to be more to it. I think at this point, like Rob said, people are looking at it and they're like, oh look, it's shiny, and once you turn off the shine, there's nothing underneath unless you got to now like dig super deep. And it's cool, like you said, Stu, everybody can watch this and enjoy it. And I guess maybe that's what Star Wars was when it first came out. People could watch it and we didn't know anything about it, and then the people that got into it dug deeper, like myself, and read the novels and consumed everything.
The legacy novels that are no longer canon, yes.
That are no longer canon, which I bet you any money, all the new novels that are coming out won't be canon once they start something new again, because at least there's a precedent.
Yeah,
there's a precedent for them wiping the slate clean and stuff. But that's a digression. It's a topic for another thing. Yeah. But I just think it's great that people can watch this, and if people do jump on the cartoons and stuff, I just think for what you said, I think I don't have any belief that the people in the show are. No, I shouldn't say all of it, but anyway, I just don't think they have the insight that you do. So I'm glad that's what you're bringing out of it, but I don't think that's where they're going.
Can we say how gorgeous and great of a job Bryce Dallas Howard did directing this episode? She made a Star Wars piece more fun and exciting in 35 minutes than her dad did in a 2.5-hour solo movie. All right, that's all I'm saying there. Bryce Dallas Howard brought some serious awesomeness to this episode as directing. So
to Andre's point, I am gonna watch those episodes now, because I now have when I look at Clone Wars and Rebels, there's 4 seasons of Rebels. I don't know how many seasons of Clone Wars. It's too much for me, right? I look at it and I go, I gotta watch 30-something episodes. But now I have a list of 8 episodes featuring this Bo-Katan character that I can go, oh, let me go, almost like digging through back issues. Like, I like this character. I'm going to go read these 3 issues. Oh, I like it. Now I'm going to go back and watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, catch the whole season. So I think that I want to say that says something at least.
Yeah. And I think that, to your point before, it's like he's kind of Star Wars has a lot of characters that believe people the first time around, whether it was Luke, whether it was Anakin, whether it was all the Skywalkers, pretty much basically took things verbatim. It's like, and just did what they had to do. And the Emperor told Anakin, do this. And he's like, sure, no problem. I'll just follow your orders. So, it's on the spirit of naive people that just kind of do things and follow orders without really questioning anything. But yeah, he's not perfect by any means. I'm not saying he's the greatest Mandalorian. I'm just saying he's a Mandalorian. But I think that we have to just recognize that, just like there are Jedis, but not everyone's Obi-Wan or Mace Windu, the greatest of Jedi. Sometimes they're just Jedis that are not great. So we've just seen so many awesome ones that are top tier that we're not used to the jobbers that got shot by a clone droid and just falls to the ground. Like, maybe that's our boy Din, that he's just like a regular guy who's just, a regular Mandalorian and not the greatest in the universe. So
I think
He's
there
a
is
rookie
one
that got a top set of armor, right? So he makes it through.
he just found he got the armor, the best bin, and that best bin isn't even the best bin
He
because
just
it's
loot crated the top armor and he's managing to survive.
well, no, because remember the armorer, and sorry, Rob, to finish it off, is that it's interesting because the armorer is a badass, and one day he's gonna run to her again. It's kind of like, I think of this more like an Amish situation where he's part of this Amish collective, and now he's off to the universe to figure out whether he wants to follow this way or not. And like many people, either he's going to continue to go back to his ways, or he's going to be like, I'm not going back. So I'm interested to see what decision he makes, because again, this is and the creed of this is the way is still of the Mandalorians, because Bo-Katan is still saying it. It's just the way, it's just different to each person.
Can I interject for 1 second, Rob?
Are you gonna bring
think
down
Rob's
this
gotta
party
go
before we
first.
go, because
No.
we're running out of time? And I
Okay,
don't-
sorry.
yeah.
So let's again, stickler for continuity. The last that Rob mentioned Bryce Dallas Howard, and the last episode that she did was the episode episode 4, which was the planet where they were saving the village.
Yeah.
So now in retrospect, how did that lady know anything about the difference between a Death Watch Mandalorian and a regular Mandalorian? Because she clearly says, "Oh, how long has it been since you've taken off your helmet?" And then it's like this. The Death Watch is like Bo-Katan is a religious
I think that
subsect
might-
of the
I think that might have
Mandalorian.
been just
I
I'd
don't
have
think
to
it was
rewatch
anything
it. She might have just been like, "What the hell? Why don't you
She
take
just
off his
noticed him
helmet?"
never take off his helmet. Like, I think it
Yeah.
was just observation.
No, she says to him, "How long has it been?" or whatever. Anyways,
but that's
it's
just basic observation. So I don't
yeah.
I don't think
no.
there's any credence in that, Andre. Sorry.
No,
Carry
I
on,
think
Rob.
I think
No,
again,
Andre,
it's bad
no,
writing.
no.
man.
Let's let Andre. Come on, let Rob go. Okay. Thank you.
All I wanted to say is that I think, we look at it, Andre's looking at it as a super uber Star Wars fan
Mhm.
who I think may be a little upset that the original books are no longer canon. We're all looking at it as geeks and nerds who kind of enjoy Star Wars, but these guys have to be able to bridge and make this show accessible to everybody. And there are going to be some who maybe are more in Andre's camp, who are like, this is kind of blasphemous to everything that I've read and consumed.
Mhm.
But that's not the majority of individuals. They have to get as wide, and I've said this before about this show, you have to get as many people and eyeballs onto it as possible and make it as, and I think that this episode did a lot. You said fan service earlier, Andre. I think it was Andre, maybe it was John, said, but I think it did a lot to help give what maybe previous episodes have not provided the hardcore fans, and to also make it palatable to the newcomers and people who don't have as much insider information or backstory on what Star Wars is or the universe. So I think we have to sometimes take a step back and realize that these episodes and this show is not speaking to us directly. It's speaking to a broader audience, and we just have to be kind of cool with that.
Yeah, they could be going for a CSI like procedural Star Wars, and then dropping these little tidbits that balloon into something huge.
I know you guys talked about fan service, but to Rob brought that point, we saw the ultimate fan service was Solo, and this is not how he got Fuzzy Dice. This is not how he got the name. This is not how he got the ship. Like, this is that is fan service to the nth degree. This is just, hey, we're telling you the points and we're carrying on, and it's like many things. It's trying to do that balance. So I get we can nitpick all we want. I can nitpick anything. If anything that anyone loves, give me time and I can just point out why things are wrong. But I think we're just here to celebrate the fact that we have Star Wars and people care about it. People want to watch it. People like it. That's what it's important. And that, frankly, since the last trilogy, we have something that people want to watch and people care about, because that last thing that came out basically almost was a death nail to the entire franchise, the entire series that is Star Wars. So the fact that we have something that is remotely positive, let's take that as a win and carry on. Because at the end of the day, it's like, I would hate for, to be like a John Carter of Mars where it's over. We never get any more of it. So let's take that and we'll continue on with our reviews as we're running out of time. We have lots of time to prove me wrong and lots of time for Andre to be right. So we have many more episodes to go. And to Andre's point, we don't have much runway. So let's see what happens next. I think we have to watch it as a whole and see what it is. It's like rating a video game after 10 minutes of the intro in. You wouldn't give a review of a video game after 10 minutes of play.
It's very video game like.
Yeah. So it's but it wouldn't do 10 minutes of playing Spider-Man and be like, I'm done. even though it's the greatest video game of all time. Anyways, so I digress. Our 2008 Spider-Man game. Okay, John and Andre, where can they find you on the internets?
Yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, please give us a subscribe and a like, Heroes World Online. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Those are our most active social medias. And if you're listening to this on whatever format you're listening to, please subscribe. If you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and a review maybe. That helps us out a lot. And then you can contact us via any method you like, and we'll get it.
And what's happening tomorrow, John?
And tomorrow we are going live with the so if you're watching this, we're uploading this episode early, so it's Sunday. We are going live with the Sidekick show on Monday nights at 8 p.m. with Rob, Joey, and myself, and we're talking about what's new at the shop, what's new in news, and just general whatever comes up, and a lot of interactions with you fans. So definitely log in and shoot us some questions and chat back and forth with us. A lot of fun last week.
Awesome. Andre?
Yeah, so you can find me in the Desert of the Real at the store, 8601 Warden Avenue, conveniently located just outside of the GTA. We're in Markham, lots of parking, lots of amenities. And I just want to mention, I know a lot of the areas, we're reverting back into stages for the pandemic, but we have socially distanced the store. There's hand sanitizer. We've done everything. We're wiping down stuff. If you don't feel comfortable coming in, as John said, give us a phone call or message us. We can do the curbside pickup. We could arrange delivery for you and stuff. So, mostly in the store, we have a limit of less than 10 people in the store. So yeah, if you're listening to us and you are anywhere in the area and can support us, small businesses are hurting all over. We're not back to normal, and usually this would be the holiday season picking up. And like I said, I do recognize and understand that people may not feel safe, or they want to obey the restrictions and not come out to non-essential stuff. But if you need anything to do, like if you're stuck at home and you want a board game or some comic book recommendations, models to build, you want to get your kids off of the computer screen because now they're learning from home, hit us up with questions, emails, phone calls. We have so much stuff that we can offer to you, recommend to you, get you into a new hobby or something that'll help you pass the time if we are deeper into this lockdown.
Rob?
Yeah, you can find me on the Instagram and the Twitter at Rob Gadet. And as John mentioned, the Heroes World the H-Dubs Sidekick show, which is a lot of fun. So if you're watching this on YouTube tonight or early tomorrow morning, come back Monday, 8 o'clock, and we'll see you live.
Yeah, and comment below on your thoughts on The Mandalorian. Tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me, Andre, that he's right. Comment and give us our various points, because clearly we're on two sides of a coin here. So let's go in and let me know that I'm wrong. Agree with Andre, disagree with Andre, do whatever you want. But yeah, comment and we'll get back to you. So I appreciate everyone watching. Please, again, to be safe out there, and we'll see you again. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.
Thank you.
You too.